Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday night at 7 p.m., and they call me Chris of the Northwest. We're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're shopping all the flights to the East Coast, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
That's right. And tonight we've got not one, but two special guests to talk all about, well, how West Virginia got a GeoWoodstock. We're excited to hear what they have to say. Let's see. One is a time traveler from the year 1392. That's why it says time. Oh, no, that's Tim. So welcome, Merlin 1392 and Troop Biz. We're excited to hear from you. And chat folks, you know what to do. Jump in there and throw in your questions, comments, and all that kind of fun stuff. But first, it's time to bring in our traveling tamarind. Some say he was a roadie in a Loverboy tribute band. And others say he loves the maple leaf and causing grief. All we know is he's called Len Monkey.
Best intro yet. Love it.
Because they're both true.
That's right. I'm just working for the weekend for that band, and proudly.
Yeah, it was a short run on that, right? Just the weekend.
Just the weekend. But
did you get a second chance?
Loving every minute of it. All right. Hey, quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons. Thank you, all of you, who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to, first of all, of our corporate Denali level sponsors. We got 3 of them. So bear with me, folks. We'll be making, I jumped ahead of myself. Special thanks to Land Sharks, LANDSHARKZ.ca, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. They say we'll be making an order from HQ shortly, which will include the 3D Sasquatches in 2 sizes. They are trying to keep them in stock, but as you can imagine, the elusive Sasquatches are making their way out the door pretty quickly. So pretty soon, there will be Sasquatch caches everywhere.
Is that 6D? 2 sizes of 3D?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's going to be hard to find Bigfoot once again.
No, it'll be easy to find them. So get your, your 8mm cameras ready and
make sure you're moving footage. So it's blurry.
Right on. Everybody do Sasquatch pose. There we go. Good job. Hey, other corporate Denali sponsor, Cachly is the premier geocaching app for iOS version 8.1. Cachly Pro features offline maps of the entire world so that you can navigate while offline, Delorme and counties, so you can finish those grids and score your challenge caches for the next power trail near you. And coming soon, CarPlay support. Find Cachly in the iOS App Store. Download it onto your iPhone now or go to cachly.com. And lastly, but in no way leastly, we thank Valemount, where every season offers its own unique adventures nestled in the Rocky, Monashee, and Caribou Mountains. It's a village surrounded by towering peaks, lush forests, and pristine rivers. Endless opportunities for year-round exploration. So head on over to Valemount, Valemount. And I'm sure there's a song that goes along with that, as I understand. All right. Well, whatever you're going to do to support our patrons, hey, you know what? Even you there, dear listener, can support the podcast by clicking on the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Whew. It takes longer and longer to get through with all those.
I am thankful that it's taking longer to get through. That means we've got more support for the podcast from amazing organizations like Landsharks, Cachly, and Tourism Valemount.
You know, I'm picky. I don't let just anybody be a sponsor. They have to be vetted. We have to know who they are. And, it goes through a process. So I just want to let you know, we're not just taking anyone.
I also want to point out that 2/3 of our sponsors are Canadian.
Ooh.
So American potential sponsors, time to step it up.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Far more than 2/3 of the fines represented by the three hosts are also Canadian.
Fair point.
I'm sensing a theme. Is this the causing grief part?
Yes.
Because you love the maple leaf and then you're causing grief. Okay, gotcha.
I'm doing my part.
I feel like we are well into 2025 now, yet the calendar says it's only a couple of weeks. So
It's been a long couple of months.
Yeah.
So in case you didn't know, we've changed time in the new year. And we only did it for one person.
Just one. And I am so grateful, Chris, that you did that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Well,
very
you're
much.
very welcome. You're very welcome, Tim. You're the reason we changed it to 7:00. So there you go. Now, guys, in the chat, we want you to ask questions. And tonight, since we're talking about GeoWoodstock 21, we want you to use 21 in Roman numerals. Now, I'm not going to read out what those Roman numerals are. You're going to have to go Google this if you don't know. Oh, no, Merlin just gave it away. XXI. There you go. Those Romans, they sure knew how to count.
I didn't say a thing.
Oh,
I just want that known.
Okay, there you go. Oh, and we've got a little bit of news. Who wants to read news this evening?
Jim wants to read news.
News. Why, you know what's coming up. Yes, we've just started 2025. We're just halfway through February, but that means next month is March. And if you got a hankering for a tasty dessert in March, break out the pie because it's Pie Day.
Yum.
Yeah, who doesn't love pie? And, well, geocaching is offering up a sweet new souvenir for Pie Day. You can earn the Pie Day Souvenir 2025 by finding and logging any mystery cache. We don't know how they work. They're a mystery. You can log that between Friday, March 14th, which is, actual Pie Day. And they'll give you all the way to Sunday, March 16th. So maybe you're working on Pie Day Friday. You got the weekend to catch up. So to make it extra sweet, all non-premium mystery caches are open to everyone throughout the weekend on the geocaching app from 11 UTC Friday till 10 UTC Monday the 17th. Get out there and find some mysteries and get that Pie Day. And then have some pie because you just got to.
You gonna put a nasty slab of cheddar on that pie?
That's right.
Okay. A mystery cache. And now, I guess, when they introduce it, that, non-premium mystery caches are open to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I figured non-premium caches were open to everyone. But is that not the case? See, I've been premium too long. And, now I can't let the premium membership lapse or I have to pay more. And I don't want to do that because I'm cheap. I'll admit it. But
hey, you're grandfathered in. Why would you?
Yeah, you don't want to lose your grandpa.
Exactly.
That's a bad thing. But
Yes,
I think, Chris, that again, non-premium cachers can only see 1515 and below.
Oh, okay.
So if it happened to be 3.0 mystery cache, non-premium could not see that other than on Pie Day weekend.
So yeah, they're unlocking it specifically just for that weekend. Is it just the type they're unlocking for the weekend?
That's what I read here.
So. Yeah, that's what Jim read. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I read that. Yes.
There's a CCE on Pie Day in Paulsbo.
Is that how you pronounce that? Paulsbo?
Paulsbo.
Okay. That is not how I would pronounce that. So I've learned something new.
Yes, I don't know why it's Paul, but it's Paulsbo. It should be Paul's.
Paulsbo? Yeah. Is that one hosted by Lori?
It sure is.
All right.
Well, I assume it is.
I assume it is.
Isn't
Yeah.
every event in Washington hosted by Lori?
Bingo.
That's where I was going with that.
That's cool.
Oh, and Caching Cants has an event in Issaquah
Okay,
What?
so almost all the events are hosted by Lori.
on Pi Day. Wait. I'm shocked. Hold on. Maybe we need to end the podcast right here.
He's still
Feedback
my heart.
Tribe is not hosting this event.
See what happens when you assume.
Yeah.
I know. You know what? No, we've got two guests that you guys have worked really hard to get here. So let's talk to you, even though Lori isn't hosting an event.
All right. If you insist.
Yes, I do.
All right. Yes, we do have two guests. So should we bring them in officially, even though we've been chatting with them all along anyway?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So welcome to Merlin 1392, Tim. He is co-host of the Challenge Talk podcast. And we'd also like to welcome Mark Webb, aka Troop Biz, they're both of the GeoWoodstock event team, if I got that right. So
Yep.
we're excited to hear about the USA's second Giga event ever. Thanks for coming, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves? Well, tell me, because I'm always up for learning some new stuff.
Particularly interested in how Mark's caching name came to be.
go ahead,
Sure.
Mark.
So I started caching in 2009. So I was 8 years old when I first started caching. So it was just something my family was looking for, something fun to do as we explore like parks. And my brother was big into like baseball and soccer, and so we were at these parks all the time anyway. But growing up, I had two dogs. One was named Trooper, and the other was named Biscuit. So you smash those two names together, and that's how you get Troop Biz. But I'm from West Virginia. I've lived here my whole life, and I currently live in Morgantown. So excited to bring everyone to the Mountain State, to my neck of the woods, and show them what Wild and Wonderful is all about.
Cool.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as Whitson mentioned, I do. I am a co-host on the Challenge Talk podcast, which can be found on the second Tuesday of every month. My co-host Emily and we talk all about challenges. So, as we like to say, our challenge is accepted. And I'm really glad to see Jay here, because I think this is the first time I've been on the show at the same time he has been on the show. So thank you.
I couldn't avoid you tonight. I've been trying really hard. Tim,
I
but-
know you were trying.
We work with him
And
every
I
week. He's
know that
very
this
trying.
this probably won't impact most of the people that are watching and listening. But Jay, there's that other event going on tonight.
Yes, I am
Canada
well aware
versus
of the other
US,
event
it's
going on tonight.
2-2 at the end of 2. So
Ooh.
we'll
You know
see
what?
who
Regardless
prevails.
of how it ends, two amazing teams
Yes.
of the best players from both countries coming together. I wouldn't call it a friendly game,
I wouldn't either.
particularly if you know the Kachucks. But you know what? Lots of teasing and whatever else going on before the game just builds it up. I think it's going to be an awesome experience. And congrats to Boston for hosting it. I think that's going to be, it's a great benefit to that city to be able to host something like that. So good.
Yeah.
Is it like hockey across the borders?
Okay. Great.
It's the final game of the Four Nations series, which is basically during the NHL break. They were on a break. The four different nations, I believe, Finland, Sweden, Canada, United States,
Correct.
get to pick their favorite players from the NHL and have a dogfight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So there's no rivalry between any of those four.
No, I can imagine not. They just all get along.
What is
Swimmingly.
fascinating on that note, Tim, what is fascinating is that you have teams made of players who probably already have rivalries, and
Mhm.
now they're
Mhm.
teammates for a period of time. I think that
Yep.
makes it even more fun.
Right.
It's a bit like the All-Star game, or
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of
Yeah.
it's an all-star series is
It
what
is,
it
yeah.
is, which makes it
Now-
even better.
is this the same series that 3 fights broke out within the first 6 seconds of the last
9 seconds, actually.
the
But
last
yes.
9 seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
Same
9
two
seconds,
teams.
Yeah, same two teams. And
That's an
I
accomplishment.
didn't see whether that happened. I had an event tonight and then getting to the show. I had to flip in when I heard the intro to Jay. And so it was, okay, where are we? Just to cause a little grief.
Well, kudos to you, Tim, for checking in on the hockey score. You just scored a point in my.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Three Hams is offering to give you the score update. So
Three Hams, keep us. You're our ticker.
Thank you.
Keep us updated as the show goes on.
Yeah, we've got something to do. In fact, I think weren't we going to talk about GeoWoodstock tonight?
Oh yeah.
oh, yeah.
Sorry, Mark.
That other thing that's happening.
Mark is like, why did I show up?
Mark loves
Well, that's
hockey,
what-
obviously.
For the first 5 minutes of that, I was like, are we talking about football, soccer? What sport is this? I was so confused.
It's all good.
Oh, so much fun. Okay. Now, we're not going to get in a fight because we've already been through at least 9 seconds. So we're somewhat stable tonight.
All good
Unlike
friends
this
here.
one. Yeah, we're all friends here. Okay. And we're separated geographically, so that also helps.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets out of control, I can put them in a penalty box, thus mute them for a period of time. So
I don't believe it.
we're okay. You don't
You would
believe
have
me?
done that to me long ago if that was possible.
Okay, there. Land Monkey's muted. You didn't think I could, right? Okay, let's get back to GeoWoodstock.
Please.
Hopefully there's no fights there either. Who knows? But a hockey game may break out nonetheless. We are talking about GeoWoodstock in West Virginia, which amazingly has reached giga status. Mark, you basically had everything to do with this. If it goes off well, great. If it goes off bad, we're going to blame you. So
There's no problem
pressure.
with something like this, right?
What prompted you to start thinking about hosting a GeoWoodstock in West Virginia?
Sure. So I've been to, a handful of GeoWoodstocks. My first one was GeoWoodstock 10 in Sellersburg. And then since then, it's kind of bounced around the East Coast for where I was able to go. So like Boonesboro, Maryland, Cincinnati, Ohio, and then recently in Flagstaff. So I've been to a handful of these along with other mega events. And there's just such an infectious energy about getting to explore a new location, seeing what, unique activities. So like the GeoWoodstock 10 in Sellersburg had a boat ride on the Belle of Louisville up and down the Louisville River. So it's just these really neat, things that you wouldn't know unless you're a local. So you go to these big events and you look around and you say, we have all this cool stuff in my hometown too. Why can't I do this? And if anyone's ever done my caches, I don't do anything small. So I've done, a dozen geo trails with the local Chamber of Commerce and series and, GeoArts and all sorts of things within the caching community. And I just love the sense of bringing people to my hometown and, giving them this experience that they wouldn't have otherwise had. I have so many caches where, there's only 2 or 3 finds, but those finds are so meaningful because those people that put in the effort, they write good logs, they have a great time, and those are the really memorable experiences of their trip. So I want to open this up to a wide audience. Like I said, I'm from West Virginia. I've been here my whole life, and I think it doesn't really get the respect it deserves. So I really want to bring people to West Virginia, especially north central West Virginia, in the Morgantown area, and show them just what makes this place so special and why we love to call West Virginia home.
Nice.
Well said.
I like his energy.
Yeah. I have never been.
I'm very well PR trained. So
Yeah, I have never been to West Virginia. I'm looking forward to experiencing it and learning all about it. I hear it's a lovely place. I'm sure there's more to it than just the punchline of a John Denver song lyric,
Songs are written about it.
which I'm sure that's never come up before.
And
you'll be singing that at some point throughout the weekend, I'm sure.
Sure. Well, and Mark is such a marketing guru. He even got the Super Bowl to play "Take Me Home to West Virginia" on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So well done,
that was a pretty penny out of the budget, but we're working to recoup. So buy some swag, thanks.
Yeah, help them out. Buy those T-shirts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're a marketing guru, from what I've been told, and you have a whole marketing plan for a master's degree.
Right.
How did you develop a marketing plan for that? Just for the dissertation for that?
Yeah, so my undergrad was in advertising and public relations throughout college, and then I went to WVU, West Virginia University, and stuck around afterwards for my master's program in integrated marketing. And all this means is that it's like a fancy communications degree. So, but part of the capstone, part of the thesis that you have to write at the end of the course is you pick a brand or an event or an industry, and you basically build out all the assets. So what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And how are you accomplishing that? So my background is in marketing. I have a lot of social media experience, a lot of copywriting, press release, all of those sort of assets. So whenever it came time to write my thesis to graduate, it was in October of 2024 is when I started working on that paper. So it was kind of all the stuff was already moving for GeoWoodstock, and we kind of knew the vision of what we wanted to do. But it was a really good opportunity to take all the things that I know this event needs to be and put it down on paper, and then really flesh out that timeline. And a big part of that is the ambassador team, which Tim is one of our rock star ambassadors, and just pulling all these people from the community together to create something special.
Nice. Now, what were wow, I don't even know where to begin with all of that, right? Ambassador teams. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. What were some of the key milestones you hit early on that really helped you get here?
Sure. So I think one thing that's interesting about GeoWoodstock, and probably what attendees don't realize whenever they log their will attend and they decide that they're going to come, is that GeoWoodstock is hosted by a different committee each year. For the most part, there's been a few repeats, and people like to jump around and help with a bunch of different events. But as the event moves geographic regions, so does the host committee. So it's a bid process that you have to put in. So that involves going to your local and state tourism offices, getting support, showing that there's things to do, that there's caches to be found, there's hotels to stay at, there's the infrastructure to support an event of this size. So all of that is a ton of work even before the event goes live. And we did all that groundwork in 2023, and we put in the bid to host GeoWoodstock 20. And we didn't get it. So you can imagine how much of that was a heartbreak, but the event in Flagstaff was awesome. Josh and his crew did a fantastic job with showcasing Route 66. And I know everyone had a great time there, which I think set our event up really, really well. So everyone had such a great time at GeoWoodstock 20 in Flagstaff. We submitted our bid to bring it back to the East Coast. It was accepted. And then as soon as that went live and everyone saw that we were coming back to the Appalachian region, to a state that GeoWoodstock has never been in, there was so much excitement right out of the gate that really helped push the momentum off on the right foot.
Well, it's a state I've never been in either. Well, at least for geocaching. So I'm excited to go there. So you presented this once and didn't win, didn't get the bid, but that didn't deter you. You did it again. And finally got the bid. How was the Chamber of Commerce responsive to the idea of bringing people here? Did they know about geocaching? Did you have to explain it and present studies of here's other GeoWoodstocks and what they've done?
Kinda. So of course, the first piece is finding your location. Where are you going to host this thing at? How much money is it going to cost? Where's kind of the revenue coming in? Where are the tourism dollars being spent? So that was the first part of putting this all together. And then we presented it, I think it was just an email to the local tourism board. And I can't remember if it was a phone call or an email, but it was a very hesitant, okay, buddy, what are you trying to do? I think it was like, send us the proposal, send us some more information, and we'll look at it. And then, it was a very like, they want to bring their little treasure hunt game here. So it was a little bit, you laying the groundwork and getting them to buy in. But once we kind of sat down and walked through who geocachers are and why this is important, especially for West Virginia, in a state that's such tourism-driven economy, like they bought in almost immediately. And they're so excited and so helpful. And I really think one of the things that are going to set GeoWoodstock 21 apart from previous GeoWoodstocks and pretty much every other mega event is going to be a lot of that hospitality connection. Not only are the people here in West Virginia great, so it doesn't matter, where you go, whether it's a business or, just meeting people on the street, but the tourism agencies here have been absolutely instrumental in, we have 22-ish hotel partners that are all offering discount codes. That's set up all through the CVB here. A lot of the side event locations, a lot of the contracts, all of that was facilitated through the CVB. So, as much work as our team is putting into this, the tourism agency has given us just as much help and support back.
Land Monkey, I hear you nodding over there a lot.
Yep. It's I can definitely relate to a lot of that, and it really is about getting the tourism team, the local tourism team, on board first. It was also my experience in Abbotsford. We put as you say, you put together the bid, which because you got to get that momentum going as well. But in parallel with that, we actually worked with the tourism group so that they were able to help us provide a lot of the stats for a winning bid, because you're basically, and I don't know how many people know this, but in order to get to that successful point that you've gotten to, and congratulations, you have to put together a very strong proposal, because there's usually a number of them every year that come in for a vote to everybody who has previously held a GeoWoodstock, and they decide your future. So you got people who've been down the road and they know what works and what doesn't work, and they're there to help you as well. But yeah. So, first of all, congratulations. But yes, a lot of nodding my head. Definitely agree that if, folks are listening to this and going, I wonder if I could do a GeoWoodstock in my city. You could, by all means, but it's also not it's not the same as hosting a CCE. Let's just say that.
Well, no,
Well,
it's not.
And when Chris and I talked last month, or Jim and Chris and I, you were gone again. We talked about GeoWoodstock as one of the major 2025 events, and I thought, Mark's been around to several of the other podcasts, and I thought it would be really interesting, because I don't know what goes into that bid. It's just this mystery thing that you have to provide this document that you have no idea what needs to go into it, into a committee who's going to decide your fate. And this is before you can even do anything. So, I thought it would be good to take a look at from the angle and the things that Mark did to get this ball rolling. And, I know we can't talk about it until it happens, but Mark, did you plan this event to be a Giga event?
Yes and no. So like I said, nothing that I do is ever small. So whenever like you do GeoWoodstock, you kind of only get one shot to do it. This is the Super Bowl. This is the Olympics. You get one opportunity to bring people to your hometown, and why not set up that opportunity to be the biggest and best that it can be? And a lot of that too is having a massive team and having the local tourism support. So when all those pieces kind of fell into line, things were definitely starting to look very positive. And then just the excitement that everyone has around this event and the excitement to come to West Virginia, there's so many contributing factors as to why this event was able to achieve Giga status. And like I could do a whole show on just like the key points of why this area is special, and why geographically, marketing, all of those things. It was kind of the perfect storm. And one of the things too, our team would kind of like had a little panic attack about in the very early stages was whenever HQ released the block party, that kind of twist, and then the community celebrations. We knew that people are going to be splitting their time. People can only have so much time off work. They only have so many funds to travel, so they're going to go to the event that means the most to them. And with several new block parties popping up, that's a tough competition. And of course, like, we're not competing with these other events, but in a way we kind of are. So, and then we got a lot of, questions early on about, well, why is GeoWoodstock listed as a mega event in the year that you can do block party? Why would you opt for that icon? And that was a decision that we had to make very early on, because probably what you don't realize is after you hit block party, you can't go giga. Block party is the cap. So if you go mega now, you have the opportunity to upgrade to a giga. But even at 3,000 Willetons on a block party, you're still kind of stuck. So that was a roll of the dice and hope for the best. But I knew our team could do it, and I had full confidence that we could make it happen. So,
Mark, I have I think it's a simple question. Did you produce the bid on your own, or did you have people help you?
Primarily it was on my own, but of course, like, you can't do any of this on your own.
No.
So a lot of the grunt work I kind of did, and then I put it in front of a handful of people locally and just said, like, okay, what do we think about hosting a side event at this location? Or what do we think about this? Or, hey, can you proofread this? Or, send it to a few people from the outside, like outside of this region, and be like, does this make sense? If I talk about pepperoni rolls and the Mothman, does that kind of get lost in translation? So there was a lot of great feedback and tweaks and stuff that we made moving throughout this process. But it took about 3 months to put the bid together from start to finish. And the funny thing is, the bid that we submitted is just about as long as my thesis paper was for my master's. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris, I was just going to say, like, it really echoes the point of what it takes, not only to pull off a GeoWoodstock, but just to put a good, strong bid, because a good, strong bid is the plan. And that is the plan that Mark's going to work from. So I think the key point here is not only surrounding with a really strong team, Mark, which is what I'm hearing, but also I think, and Tim's made the point that Mark comes at this with a particular set of skills that were necessary to get that whole process going. And again, kudos to that. Obviously, kudos for the getting to giga status. That's huge, and for being smart enough to look forward and say, yeah, block party's tempting, but so good job.
Okay, Land Monkey, I have a question for you, and if I'm reaching any confidences, let me know. But how long do you have to look at the bids before voting happens from the group of, what do we say, previous Woodstockers?
The elders of the Woodstock, yeah.
Yes.
The elders of the Woodstock know who I am. Yeah. Sorry, IT crowd reference. I honestly, I can't remember. Mark probably is closer to it than I am, but I can't remember the exact time frame. But it's not extensive. It's fairly tight. There's a cutoff date for the bids to get in. They get distributed to the team. Everybody reviews. The votes go in. It's a pretty fast turnaround, but it's also super top secret, right? So the voters and Mark would basically be the only people who know for quite a period of time.
Oh,
Yeah,
that I completely understand. Right. But I was just curious. I mean, are you given a month? Or are you given, 2 days? Somewhere in between there?
So our experience, we had to submit everything by the end of March. And then we knew about the end of April.
Okay.
So it took about 4 weeks, somewhere in that ballpark. So we got the green light, and then we had about a month to get everything up and running before the announcement in Flagstaff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's sort of the key thing, is the decision needs to be made pretty fast so that the team is set up for success, because it's that, that announcement at the prior GeoWoodstock, that's where that's where the crazy starts.
Yeah, the good news is we won. Oh, wait, the bad news is we
We
won.
won, yeah.
Now we got to do this.
So Mark, what was that like for you? Like that's coming up. You're kind of secretly to the side there waiting to make your announcement. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, so the month like leading up to that was so stressful because you just know there's so many things that you have to do. And then the added twist of it being all the way across the country made things really challenging for our team. So like we had like a really nice banner printed up. We did like a sizzle reel. We had all of our like social channels, like everything was ready to go. But we still had to get like our business cards and the banner and stuff out to Flagstaff. So we had to have people in our team drive from West Virginia to Flagstaff to deliver that stuff. We had people back here in West Virginia, like we were like texting them like, okay, we're about to announce it so they can flip the switch on all of like our socials and put that out that way. So it was a ton of coordination and like lead up. And you can't say anything about it. So you're just like standing there, just like screaming from the inside. Like our team has we made these shirts with our logo on them. So it's like everyone on our core team that was there in Flagstaff, like had them on, or we had jackets on, or like we did like a costume change right before the announcement. If you go back through my Facebook, like the people that tagged me, like I have so many pictures with all my friends and stuff at that event, and I'm wearing something completely different. And it's like, they would just never know. But it was fun, like walking around that day and just being like, oh, like, have you heard anything? Where do you think it's going to be? And like, everyone was like, oh, it's going to go to like Boston. It's going to go to New England. It's going to go to Georgia. And I was like, oh, I'd love to go to a GeoWoodstock in Georgia. That'd be so much fun. And they didn't know that. I knew that whole time.
Like right up to the time the announcement's made, everybody else is an expert. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. And maybe those people in Boston and Georgia are sweating it right now to getting their ready bid for the next year. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Could be.
You know,
Yeah.
I hear you. If you submit the bid more than once, you've got a good chance. At least with the group I'm talking to right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it worked for Mark anyway. So.
Exactly.
Hey, and
Well,
Mark didn't have to keep trying to put it on for 3 years, so that works too.
Right. I was
Yeah.
going to say, yeah, that was Jay. Jay had that experience of winning the bid and then not being able to do it.
Yeah, that's stressful. I don't need that additional stress.
No, you don't. Nobody wants that, Mark.
We were the official podcast of GeoWoodstock for 3 years running.
That's right.
Hey, you threw out a little term earlier that I wanted to, I wanted to come back to the ambassador idea, but real quick, those of us that aren't local to the area, I think you mentioned CVB. What is that acronym? Am I ignorant of that?
So that's the Convention and Visitor Bureau. So
Okay.
that's your tourism board. That's your local visitor center.
Okay. I'm living here in a Columbia Valley. I'm thinking Columbia Valley. No, that's not. That's bad. Okay. So I'm trying to do something with regional. Okay. All right. So coming back around, you talked about ambassadors. You ran over that real quick and then we moved on to other things. But what prompted the ambassador idea there? Tell us about ambassadors.
Yeah, so whenever we started thinking about GeoWoodstock, we kind of did a little bit of an audit on what makes these events special. Yeah, you look at Going Caching and they have the puzzles. You look at Midwest Geobash and they have like the camping. So what makes GeoWoodstock special? And at its core, it's the people. You know, this is the one opportunity to bring geocachers from all over the world together. And who better to represent this idea and share this message and champion the idea than the people. So we have the leads of our ambassador team here, Danny and Danielle Rinaldi, the great caches. They looked out across the US geographically, looking at people who are well respected and rock stars in their local community. And they reached out and put this team together. Tim, you can kind of speak a little bit more about what that was like getting that message.
Well, yeah, it was real interesting, and I think think that is a great thing about GeoWoodstock. And I know you're not the first GeoWoodstock to have the ambassador type program. So yeah, one day out of the blue, I get this message that says, "Hey, would you like to be an ambassador for GeoWoodstock?" And I hadn't even planned on going to GeoWoodstock. I've got so many things going on this year in other events. It was like, yeah, I can't go. And then I got that email and goes, yeah, I can't not go.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was Danny and Danielle I know from Midwest GeoBash, and we talked about that. And I get this email that says, we would love for you to spend some money with us. We'll give you some cards, we'll give you some tokens, and we'll give you a shirt if you give us money. And then you can talk about the event, and please talk about it. And oh, by the way, as part of this recruitment effort, you must do the following, and with a list of things that every ambassador had to do, and one of which was to host a local event promoting GeoWoodstock. So not only, are we out dropping cards and caches, we're giving cards to friends, we're giving tokens out at just random events to promote the event, but we're going to do an event that promotes the GeoWoodstock. And one of the closet pieces that I have is I'm a cache tour freak. I just love the application cache tour. So my event was, let's go to GeoWoodstock with cache tour. So how do you plan a trip? How do you add things to the trip? And so that was my event. And I did one, I want to say October, November timeframe, and I'm doing another one this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, as a matter of fact. So it's a way to again promote the event. And as Mark said, when you look at the list of people that they have invited to the ambassador program, and one of the things I don't know is how many people were invited that said no. My guess from the names of the people that I've seen, no one on that team would say no. And so I'm not even going to say any of the names because I'm going to forget somebody who's really important and be there. But there's about 40 of us that are ambassadors. And as Mark said, we're spread out through the country. So we're geographically dispersed. We're sending all these messages out, and they also gave us another incentive. They said, if you can help us get to be a Giga event, we'll give you this really cool Giga coin. But you only get the coin if we get to be a Giga.
Nice.
And by the way, you have to follow the rules that you can't tell people to do logs and, all this other stuff. So you got to play by the rules. So we did. And, we just kept watching those numbers. And January, I told Mark that I knew we were going to hit Giga before the end of January. And he said, no, we're on track. We're going to be mid-February. And the morning of January 30th, I don't think any of us got any work done because we're all in the application Discord and we're like, we're only 5 away. We're only 5 away. And we're only 2 away. And we're only 4 away.
That's awesome.
And a friend of mine who I know is going, we're like, just a friend from work has not logged her Williton yet. Why isn't she logging her Williton yet? We know she's going. Well, she was trying to be number 3,000. She got to be 3,005, but that morning we were it was crazy. So that's how the ambassador team came together to help promote this event. And I think being in West Virginia also is very geographically located in a very populous part of the country. So, I know there's a lot of new people there and coming to Woodstock for the very first time, and they're going to have an awesome experience. People that have been there before, it's old hat, but we're going to see friends from around the world. We're going to see our friends from Canada, our friends out west. So it's going to be a blast.
So Tim, now that you've hit Giga status, your job is done as ambassador, right?
Correct. I'm all done. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing else to do.
Take your coin and run.
Yeah. So as an ambassador, we all have, again, I don't know if Mark worked it out or the team worked it out, but we got a special deal from pathtags.com that we created host/ambassador path tags. And so now I'm working on coordinating the path tags for our group. So yes, I volunteered for yet one more thing. And also people want to collect these path tags. So when you find an ambassador, they've got some special one of a kind, unique path tags. And our goal is to not come home with any.
Perfect. Hey, I got a question here. So, we've talked about the process of getting everything organized, and in the ambassador program, obviously has worked really well. We mentioned just to, get the bid together and get the bid won, Tim's particular set of skills and the team he surrounded himself with were successful. But at this point in time now, Mark, with the support from Tim, who's volunteering for everything apparently, and etc. But are there roles you need to start filling? Like, is there like a call for volunteers and any special skills, assignments, or asks that you need to kind of get people motivated and moving with as you get? I mean, it's not that far away.
Yeah, we are less than 100 days away from GeoWoodstock, which is crazy. It's hard to believe. And I think one thing that I wanted to reiterate from what Tim said is that the ambassadors were invited. This wasn't just like whoever wants to host an event, whoever wants to champion GeoWoodstock. Of course, we had so many people reach out and share support, and we would love for everyone to be an ambassador. But we really wanted this to be like a tight-knit core group that kind of gets all the information first and then shares it. So everyone's on the same page. The ambassadors have been really instrumental in kind of steering the direction of this event. What have you seen at other events that you liked? What do you want to see in your swag packages? Those sort of things, and kind of getting this like big group think of, all these rock star cachers together to create this experience that is going to be really, really special. So a lot of the ambassadors, like Tim said, are helping in other ways throughout the event, whether that's just building the GPS maze or working to hide caches within Milan Park. Everyone's still pulling double duty and giving their all to this event. So I say time and time again that this event is truly like the ambassadors event. I'm happy to champion or pay the credit cards and do all the fun legal stuff, but at the end of the day, it's the ambassadors through and through that are helping put this all together, getting people excited, sharing the information so everyone can make sure to have a good time, all of those things. So we have a lot of the big stuff covered in terms of putting things together. But in April, we're going to release our volunteer sign up, and we're going to need help doing everything imaginable, whether that's handing out swag packages, restocking drinks in the VIP area, maintaining local caches and just making sure there's logbooks and if anything like that needs spruced up or anything. Danny and Danielle put together an awesome list of a ton of volunteer opportunities, and we're minting special geo coins to hand out to all these people that are donating a few hours of their time throughout the weekend to help us really make this a great event. So
that's
very
fantastic.
cool. So
Very
watch
nice.
for that in April, the volunteer list for those who want to help out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you limiting volunteers to people that live locally, or do you have roles that could be filled by visitors?
Yeah, absolutely. We have roles that are going to be filled. They're just like 2-hour time slots, more or less. So it doesn't really matter whether you get there Friday, Saturday. There'll be an opportunity to fill. But based on what I've seen so far, everyone's very eager to help and everyone wants to get this, really rare coin. So as soon as we make that announcement that the volunteer sign up list is live, it's probably going to fill pretty quickly. So if that's something you want to do, keep an eye out. I think it'll be around the first week of April. So like that first Friday or so. We'll make an event announcement, of course, on our Facebook, but we'll give plenty of heads up to everyone well ahead of time.
Great.
Speaking of rolls, Wet Coaster says, don't forget the toilets.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely important. Luckily, our venue has a whole maintenance crew. So no one's gonna get the crappy jobs, pun intended.
Literally.
Yeah, that's good.
Well played.
Good venue.
But it is. I mean, I guess that's another good point to GeoWoodstock. Now that it is a giga, there's going to be a lot of people there. So there might be a line to use a restroom. There might be a line to get a pepperoni roll. Sorry. I got to get my West Virginia.
And to see the Mothman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
there'll be a line there.
Yeah. So you have to put your patience cap on. And, I've been to a number of mega events and I've never seen one go perfectly. But what you find is that the really good organizing committee is they don't allow the public to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Behind the scenes, we go crazy. And I have great confidence in Mark and his team that outwardly it's going to be the best Woodstock ever. But we know something's going to happen. That toilet is going to back up and it's going to, put that out of whack and, something's going to happen. Murphy just has to come along.
No, Murphy's not on the list. 3,000 without Murphy. We don't need him now.
Again, I think Tim makes a really good point, right? It's ultimately it's about the experience, and Mark has said it a few times, right? It's about the community, it's by the community, it's about the community. I think that's awesome because that's really at the roots of what GeoWoodstock's all about. And absolutely, Tim, nothing goes perfectly. Some people see behind the scenes, but as long as the majority of the individual experiences are positive, then you walk away with a win.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I'll throw in too, our team is doing everything that we can to make the best experience possible. But we also need help from the community to make sure this event is the best experience possible. So like Tim said, please give us some patience. Everyone here is a volunteer. None of us are experts at any of this. You're going to have trouble finding a parking spot at least some point throughout the weekend. You're going to have to wait in a line at some point throughout the weekend. So just come in with that expectation and know that we have everything, thought through. I've spent so many nights, lying awake thinking about how we can make this the best possible. So just bear with us throughout the weekend, especially now that we're attracting an international crowd of 5,000 people, more than 5,000 people.
Wow.
That's a big crowd for any event, let alone a geocaching event. So let's keep those expectations in mind. And it's going to be a great event, and I'm pretty confident that everyone's going to have a great time.
Yeah. Mark, I've been to events put on by professionals and things still don't go right.
Yeah.
So don't cut yourself short there by saying, we're not professionals. You're doing a great job. One thing you didn't mention is how big is this core team of yours? Are we talking 800 people? No, not quite. Okay.
No. So I want to say we probably have about 12 people here in Morgantown, orchestrating a lot of the on the ground work. And then like Tim said, we have about 40 ambassadors. So, once a month, about 60 of us get together and brainstorm and put this together. So I would say 60 or so is going to be our core team. And then we're hoping for, a couple hundred volunteers to join us throughout the weekend to put all this together.
Yeah, I've volunteered in the past in some of the GeoWoodstocks, and that's a good group of people that want to go and help out. So, you know what? If you're thinking about it, as soon as that opens up in April, go put your name down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. Just put your name down for something. Every little bit helps. Fantastic. Okay, now that you've got the bid It's been accepted. It's been publicized. How excited are the local businesses that all these people are coming in? How excited is your team? And what challenges are you currently facing, if you want to share those?
Sure. Like Tim said, the team is ecstatic. Those final 24 hours of rolling into that Giga status, I think my phone, like I sat it on my table one day and it just vibrated. It just sat there and shook. I get notifications for every time a will attend is logged. And I go through and I read them all. I promise. I read them all. A lot of people on our team go through and read them. We keep track of every single one. We know who's coming. So just that experience, and like Tim said, everyone got to share it together and we were all excited. So that was really cool to see. And then that morning, as we were hitting Giga status, I was driving to the tourism office to have a meeting with them. So I'm like trying to post on Facebook at like every stoplight. I'm like trying to get another text out and trying to orchestrate some of this stuff. So it's like you have that, like I parked in the parking lot and I had that minute of just like, holy crap, that just happened. And I like had to pull it together and then go into the office and like tell them, like, and they're like, oh, that's good, cool.
That's nice.
Like, they don't understand like how big of a deal this is. But they're very, very excited. They love like really niche things like this. So like North Central West Virginia is home to so many weird and quirky events. So like pickleball is really big right now. So Morgantown's home to like a big pickleball tournament. North Central West Virginia just opened or started the project of the largest gravel bike trail in the United States. So just a lot of these really weird projects that pull together a big group of like-minded people that you probably wouldn't have otherwise expected. So this is right up their alley, and they're thrilled. We're partnering with 10 local businesses throughout Mountaineer Country to hide letterbox hybrids at. And if you go to all 10 and you collect the stamps that are in those letterbox hybrids, you can bring it back for a chance to redeem a trackable geocoin. So I know all of those businesses are excited to welcome people from all over the world to their front door. We have a lot of really cool locations lined up for that. So we're excited to show people around our hometown too.
Yeah, that's the Country Roads Geo Tour, right, Mark? Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the promo that they did on the Super Bowl, was taking home Country Roads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Geo Tour, obviously. I remember hearing Geo Tour in the lyrics. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah. I love it. Looking at the website, great website, by the way. And, it popped up all of the sudden. I don't know how websites like that just pop up. But anyway, no, work went into many months ahead of time to get this to go. It says there are 10 events between Thursday and Sunday. That's a lot going on. And, you've got one you've got to focus on, but there are 9 others happening around. Are you partnering with other geocachers to help you focus on these and get these done?
Yeah, so a lot of people, like I said, we have our 12 core people that are in Morgantown, especially. So we kind of split those events up, and each person has their own event that they're kind of overseeing and responsible for. But a lot of those events too are like could be mega status in their own right. Like I'm really, really excited for our Midnight Madness events. We're renting out the Student Union here on West Virginia University's campus.
Oh, nice.
So it has like the massive like food court area that we're going to use for path tag trading and all of those things. We're going to have path tag dice games. We're going to have geocoin poker. We're going to have Family Feud with geocaching influencers and lackeys for people to get to watch. And then we also, the basement of this building has a bowling alley, has a billiards room, has a games area. So even if like path tags and coins aren't your thing, there's still going to be so much fun to be had. And that's just one of 9 other events. All the locations are so cool and putting so much work and effort into every little piece of the experience throughout the weekend.
That's amazing.
Wow. Starcasher asks, will a schedule of GeoWoodstock activities be available prior to the volunteer sign-up period?
So on the event page right now, everything that is going to be happening at GeoWoodstock is currently listed. So you can go there and you can kind of get an idea of what is going to be needed. But then that volunteer sign up list is going to go live and you'll be able to just put your name right on what you want.
There you go. So GeoWoodstock XXI.com.
Very cool.
Wow. Now we have nearly talked an hour.
Yeah.
Time goes by so quickly. You know, a Giga event is enough reason to get people to go to West Virginia. But we would be remiss in not mentioning the Berkeley Gadget Geo Tour of West Virginia Tim, which, you know, that's a bit of a drive away, but it's a draw in and of itself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's going to be some great stuff there.
yeah. So, you know, while you're in the area, there are some excellent geocaches nearby. Of course, in town, spend your time in Morgantown. Morgantown.
Morgantown.
Morgantown.
I read it and I have no problem, but when I go to think, and it's like, wait, what is it?
Don't do that, Chris. It
Don't
could
think?
hurt.
Yeah, no, I hurt myself when I think. I usually embarrass myself too, but I get over that.
No, it should be fun. And you know, as Mark said, there are caches to be found. I think I was adding up that for the weekend I could get almost 1,000 caches in the area.
Wow.
Because there's a 120 adventure geo art. There's the Country Roads Geo Tour that we talked about. We didn't even talk about the other geo arts that are publishing. We didn't talk about the caches that are publishing for the event.
I guess we're
we
going
let
to have
those
another
other
podcast
podcasts
on
talk
this.
about that. But you
Yeah.
know, if you can't find something to do in West Virginia, whether you're a geocacher or not, there's something wrong with you. And I know the doctors tell me I'm okay now, but I'm not so sure.
Well, it's only because you've gone to the doctors that you are okay now.
It's okay.
Hey, by the way, Marcy just checked out the website and said it was very cool. So that's a professional opinion right there.
That's
Just
a
yeah.
thumbs up from Tourism Valemount.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we have one of the guys on our team is a computer scientist. So I told him exactly what I wanted to have on the website, and we spent many, many, many long hours or long nights as me going like, I want that box moved that much to the left, and he's like, I am going to kill you. But
I
we
can
got it
relate
done in the end.
completely to that. I can relate completely to
I
that.
need that move 3 pixels, please.
Yep.
But that's the thing, right, Mark? Like the website, prior to people showing up at the events themselves, the website is the representation of the event, right?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
got to nail it.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
there
You-
are so many cool things that, you know, we could talk for the next 3 or 4 hours regarding GeoWoodstock. I mean, the GeoWoodstock event coin itself is one of the most unique because signal actually is going to move across the coin.
Mm.
And then the Giga coin is a train of unique icons that spin. And so unfortunately for many, the store has already closed. So the ability to get packages of stuff is gone. And I don't know, Mark, where are you with the Giga coins? Are they still available?
Yeah, well, we have a few left. I'm not sure the exact number, but like all of those
Fair.
things. So your main coin with the signal ziplining, your shirts, your path tag sets. We have very limited number of all of that stuff left. So if you're interested in adding anything to your cart, this event is funded solely by swag sales and the help of our tourism partners and sponsors. So, you know, if you want to get in on any of this fun stuff, now is definitely the time you need to do it because there's no guarantee that anything will be available for sale at the event itself. And like Tim said earlier, I don't want any of this stuff after the event. I want to make sure it all goes to a loving home. So please pre-register or pre-purchase any of your coins or shirts or anything like that so we can make sure to package it all together. And you can just show up, grab whatever you purchased, and then you have more time to go cash in. So
Mhm.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And we all know geocaching is free until you
Yes.
get behind the scenes and you run one of these events and you realize just how expensive they are.
Yeah.
And we really count on the community from not only the will attend support, but also the financial support.
Yeah.
And buying those packages is the way to do that. And thank you, Jim.
Starcasher already has both coins ordered.
Awesome.
There you go.
And,
There's the support.
Wits End and I already have our packages purchased. So
We did.
we're going to be there. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. That means I have gone to both Giga events in the US. Wow.
Ooh.
This will be my third. I had the opportunity to travel to Abbotsford. So
and we appreciated you having you there and your volunteering. I think this is the one thing we should also point out is that Tim is the GeoWoodstock volunteer extraordinaire. So
I see a need and just can't say no. I'm sorry. It's
that's amazing, Tim.
I think I spent all day wrangling signal that day. The back of the truck is open and, Land Sharks is emptying it by himself. And I'm like, why is he doing it all by himself? I'll go over and help.
Yeah.
Those were not volunteer opportunities per se. I saw a need and walked over.
Yeah, exactly. You took the opportunity to volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
You weren't asked, you offered.
Right. And so, Mark's going to put up the list of, the official volunteer activities, but you see somebody who has a lost look on their face, you can just say, hey, what are you looking for? And, there's many of us experienced people. I know GSM times 2 has been to a number of these. He was in the chat room tonight. We all know what's going on at these big events and try to help the people that it's their first one, because in your first mega event, which is a giga, your eyes are going to glaze over pretty dang quickly.
Yeah. You know what, Tim, you raised a good point. And not just Scott, but there's a number of folks in our chat tonight watching live, and probably folks who are going to watch or listen later, who are also great volunteers. And hopefully we'll take the opportunity in April. So Mark, when did you say when in April, or are you not sure yet?
It'll be around the first week. So we're planning to put together like all the information that you're going to need for the whole weekend. It's all going to be listed on our website, and we'll do a big event announcement. We'll do a few Facebook posts leading up to that too, with the official date and time and all that fun stuff of when it's going to go live. But right now, as long as everything keeps on the tracks, it's going to be the first weekend of April, somewhere around that period.
So there you go, folks. That's the most important news right now is first week of April, sign up and help out.
Nice. And I noticed he says it's if we keep it on the tracks, and it's a train theme to GeoCoin. Just going with that.
There you go.
Hopefully you'll see lots of trains here. West Virginia has a big coal mining industry, so lots of train tracks, lots of trains going around. So
there you go.
So this podcast regularly runs off the rails, so
we're experts in that.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeannie says the best part of GeoWoodstock is volunteering. So people volunteer. So. Yeah, it makes everything go better. You feel good. You and trust me, you're not missing anything. You're going to be able to see everything you want to see and volunteer. Yep, makes you part of the event. Thank you, GSM times 2. So there you go.
We are over time, but there's been lots to. Speaking of overtime, the game is going to be decided in overtime. But, thank you, Three Hams.
There's a game.
But really, really fun conversation. Mark and Tim, thank you both so much for coming out and joining us. And I think we're going to maybe need to have you back because I don't think we got through everything.
No, really.
We didn't even really talk about what's going to happen, just what has happened up to this point. And, people think, wow, it's a Giga event. Thanks for throwing that. There's a lot more behind it. So, when you see these volunteers, when you see the crew, when you go there, they're going to be busy. but just wave and say thank you and let them continue on with what they're doing. I was going to say stop and shake their hand, but that's probably not helpful. Wave from a distance. Thank you. Folks, and I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. We want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks, Cashly, and Tourism Valemount, our corporate Denali level sponsors. And I hope Marcy's proud of me. I haven't said it wrong yet on the podcast. Landsharks.ca, LANDSHARKZ.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And remember, they're shipping those online orders daily, and they're ordering some more Masquatches for you. So go check those out.
Masquatches?
Cashly is, of course, the geocaching app for iOS. So go to the App Store and download that onto your iPhone this minute. And if you're not doing it right now, I'm going to come find you and I'm going to take your phone. I'm going to download it for you. And folks, whether you are seeking outdoor thrills or just a peaceful retreat, Valemount awaits you.
Ah, yes.
Indeed. Well, that's like 5 times I've said it right so far.
I think you nailed it, Jay.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, Mark, running gag. I have struggled. Thank you, Marcy. I have struggled with the pronunciation of Valemount to date. So, anyhow, we want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. Of course, Landsharks, Cashly, but also Landsharks, Cashly, and Tourism Valemount, and Cool Cow Cachers and Hawaiian Maile. Folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show and having us say your name at the tail end of it, well, go click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Wilbur, I'm in the room. Yes, indeedy. We'd like to thank Green Words,
BC Rock Crawler,
For us spilly drinkers, Wet Coaster.
Skyhawker,
Jaffa,
You remembered. Nice. You Talks to Rocks.
The Terrible Teas,
Trexer,
Nerve.
Mountain Bike,
B Pendragon,
Timely for the Geocoin Railroad.
yeah, Flagman,
CRS 98,
Kitty Quest.
Limax,
Lost Ken,
Boomer 365.
Seebeck Tribe,
Whidbey Island Gal,
Rolling it up. Logwork.
Just Carlo,
you Dak,
Antaeus.
Butterfly Girl,
Peach of Washington,
Geocaches.
The Camp Clan,
Keats 94,
Ackerdoc.
LG 9000,
Genies,
GeoNav Pro.
Team Noltex,
NW Cats,
JCar.
GSM ×2,
GeoBirder,
Dora Moore.
Subway Mark,
Gas Station Tuna,
Alan.
Sprouter,
oh, Core Scott.
And Kid Vegas 19.
Wow.
All right. Thank you guys both so much. And is there any place outside of the GeoWoodstock website that you want people to send? If they have more questions, to get in touch with you directly, what's the best way?
Yeah, so on the website, it has most of the information needed. If there's not something if there's not a question that's not on there that's answered yet, stay tuned. April, everything should be on there. But if you need an immediate answer, please send us a message at info@geowoodstockxxi.com, or you can hop on over to our community group on Facebook. A lot of community experts, especially like you were saying, if it's your first time, you don't know what to expect at an event in general. There's a ton of great people. All of our event team, all the ambassadors are on the community group helping, answer questions and kind of steer you in the right direction. So a lot of great places to find answers and resources. So just don't message us on the geocaching message system, because we don't monitor that as well. If you need a quick answer, either post on Facebook or send us an email at info@geowoodstockxxi.com.
Mark, you don't want to handle 4,000 messages on the geocaching.com messenger?
Yeah.
You
I don't
should see my
understand.
personal geocaching message system with just help for puzzles. I have enough messages to respond to on there.
Post your wheel attendant, blow up his phone.
There you go. because he reads each and every one of those,
That's right.
as we know.
Kudos. Yeah.
You know he does.
Folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. Better yet, share your ideas for things you want us to talk about. If you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment, ask a question, or click on all the squares with a bicycle on them any time of the day or night. I had to do a bicycle today. How did you know? And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. See how I can get that right every now and again for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfener, Jim Paulitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2025 by Chris Umfener. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The after show.
I didn't even see Wits End's lips move.
I'm that good.
You know what? We are over time. I think there are just a few. Yeah, there's one FATAS.
Well, and I couldn't get into the chat to respond when he said that. And that is probably a resounding no.
But you're so good at volunteering.
I know I am. And, we do have Camp MyGo this year, which is a block party event. And I'm sitting on the chair of that committee. But, and we took the same kind of philosophy that the GeoWoodstock people have done in various places. We want it to be exciting. We want it to be different. And we needed a place that could host, upwards of 500 to 5,000 people. And we just don't have enough, what I would say, exciting things in the right geography to be able to do it.
That's fair.
It's not that any of us really have thought about it. And now that I've put on a block party, I really don't want to do it. But, and we talked before the show, Chris, and I guess now that Jay is with us, Jay, would you do another Woodstock?
Nope.
Well, now, hold on there, Land Monkey. Why didn't you take some time and think about it? So, Merlin, what if we volunteered you to do a Woodstock?
I have a really hard time saying no. But
Let me give you some tips, Tim. It's like this. Nope.
This is coming from a man
I
who has
just don't
3
think
years
it's going to happen, but I
experience.
appreciate Scott's thinking about it. So,
Speaking of Scott,
I
he
did see that one from Scott.
some great feedback. Oh, sorry, Tim. Did I cut you off there?
No. You were reading that as well, and that Mark's
go ahead.
been around and he's made the tour, and we would be happy to come back and and talk some more about some of the events, and I'd let Mark do that on his own because he's so well versed in all of those. But we did want to talk about behind the scenes because, you guys have done a great job with this podcast and we wanted to do something different. So Mark and I talked ahead of time to try to prep this out and really what does go into a GeoWoodstock and,
A lot.
yeah, and people are crazy like Mark in the first time and you see that smile on his face that he's still excited about this. And then you look at Jay, who it's done. I'm over. I've done my, that's it.
In no way is that to take away, Mark, from the excitement. And it is like you are in, I don't know if you have kids, Mark, but you're in the
How old do you think I am? Yeesh.
You're in the toddler
How much
stage.
have you aged in the last couple of months?
Yeah.
A lot.
You'll be gray by the time it's over, but you're in the toddler stage. This is the best part. All this excitement leading up, the day of everything, and then there's the cleanup, and then there's the, oh my gosh, I am never doing that again, but it was awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm still on the hook for some of the the tourism dollars and whatnot.
Right.
We have to give all the stats and all the data to them after all the stakeholders. So still a lot of work to be done after the event too.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay took 0.3 seconds to answer.
You know, I would never not want to have done it, if that makes sense. Like I am really happy that we did that, and I'm saying like this was me. It was not me. It was a team of amazing volunteers who all came together and did this together and put this on. But I would almost guarantee if you asked any of them the same question, you get the same answer. It's just because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. It well, Mark can tell you, right? Like all the lead up, all the even for like, is amazing, right? Mark specializes in this. Well, not the event itself, but in the marketing and and all of that work. But still, right? Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
Even just our block party this year. I mean, it's we do have some very special events planned. Some of them have been released and some have not yet. It's a lot of work to put on a mega event. And
Yes, it
we have
is.
a team of about 9 that are working with us, and everybody brings something special to the table. No one of us can do as much as all of us can accomplish. And so, but it's a big task. Big events require big shoes.
We're getting all kinds of signals from.
I'm getting the hook here.
Yeah. The producer is saying you're done.
Merlin, I wanted to ask one more question. Is housing in Detroit still, can you buy houses just dirt cheap? Maybe you could buy an entire block and throw a true block party right there in
used to be able
Detroit.
to.
Yeah.
But see, I live in the northwest of Michigan now, Chris. You know.
Okay. Oh, so, well, good. The northwest of anywhere is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, Starcacher did ask about hosting an event up by the August 2000 cache, which would be great, providing we would get everybody to camp, because there are absolutely no hotels in the area.
Yeah, and that's that's obviously a huge challenge too.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
we have thought about that. We've talked about it as a group. When I was part of my go, and even after that, that we could we, would we? And the block party gave us a reason to try to do. This is just the 3rd mega event that Michigan will have put on this year.
Wow.
And
this year. Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're no longer part of my go, does that mean you went?
I went. Yeah. Yes, I did went.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.
Night.